Most people want a better life, but they do not always know where to begin. They feel tired of starting over, tired of doubting themselves, and tired of waiting for things to change. This audiobook is for that moment. It is for the person who wants real progress, not empty motivation. It is for the person who is ready to build discipline, think clearly, and make better choices every day. What follows is not about quick success or easy promises. It is about learning how to focus your mind, strengthen your habits, and keep going when life feels hard. You will hear simple truths that can help you gain control over your time, your decisions, and your future. You will also hear why many people stay stuck and what they must change if they want a different result. If you stay with this audiobook, you will find practical guidance you can use right away. You will learn how to choose a clear goal, build strong habits, recover from setbacks, and keep improving even when no one is watching. That kind of change is not loud at first. It begins quietly, with one honest decision and one better action. Stay with this journey. The ideas in this audiobook may challenge you, but they can also help you change the direction of your life. Chapter 1. Define your biggest goal with complete honesty and clear purpose. Every meaningful achievement begins long before success becomes visible. It begins with a decision that is honest enough to change your direction. Many people spend years working hard without ever asking themselves what they truly want. They stay busy, complete tasks, meet expectations, and follow routines, yet they feel an emptiness they cannot explain. The problem is not a lack of effort, the problem is a lack of clarity. Hard work without a clear goal often creates frustration instead of fulfillment. Honest direction gives every action a purpose. Your life will always move toward what receives your attention. If your attention changes every few days, your results will also change every few days. If your attention stays focused on one meaningful destination, your daily choices begin to support that destination. This is why defining your biggest goal is not simply an exercise. It is one of the most important decisions you will ever make. It shapes how you spend your mornings, how you respond to challenges, how you use your time, and how you measure your progress. Honesty is the foundation of every worthwhile goal. Without honesty, people often choose goals that belong to someone else. They chase careers because their family expects it. They buy things because society tells them those things represent success. They compare themselves with strangers and begin running toward lives they never truly wanted. This creates constant pressure because every step feels forced. Deep inside, they know they are living according to someone else's expectations instead of their own values. Take a quiet moment and ask yourself one simple question. What do you truly want from your life if nobody else could judge your answer? This question deserves more than a quick response. Sit with it. Think carefully. Your first answer may not be your real answer. Sometimes the honest answer appears only after the noise begins to fade. Many people discover that what they wanted was never money alone. They wanted freedom. Others realize they never wanted fame. They wanted respect. Some discover they were searching for peace more than success. Others realize they wanted to become someone their children could admire. The goal you choose should connect with something that matters deeply to you, because lasting motivation always comes from meaningful reasons. There will be moments when you question yourself. During those moments, your reason becomes stronger than your emotions. Feelings change every day. Purpose remains steady. When your purpose is clear, temporary discomfort no longer feels like a reason to quit. It simply becomes part of the journey. Imagine waking up every morning already knowing the most important thing you need to accomplish. Notice how much mental energy that saves. Instead of wondering what matters today, you already know. Your decisions become easier because your goal acts like a filter. Opportunities that support your goal deserve attention. Distractions become easier to ignore because they no longer fit your direction. People often believe that choosing one goal means giving up every other possibility. In reality, choosing one meaningful goal creates more opportunities than chasing 10 different dreams at the same time. Focus increases the quality of your effort. Concentrated effort creates better results than scattered energy. A useful exercise is to write your biggest goal in one clear sentence. Avoid vague words. Do not write that you want a better life. Describe what a better life actually means. Do not write that you want success. Explain what success looks like in practical terms. The clearer your goal becomes, the easier it becomes to create daily actions that move you forward. Suppose your goal is to become financially independent. That statement is a beginning, but it still needs clarity. What does financial independence mean to you? Does it mean paying off debt? Does it mean saving enough money to support your family without constant worry? Does it mean starting your own business? The more specific you become, the more practical your plan becomes. Suppose your goal is better health. Again, define it honestly. Does it mean having enough energy to enjoy your daily life? Does it mean lowering health risks? Does it mean feeling stronger every year? Clear answers create clear actions. A goal should challenge you without making you believe it is impossible. If it feels completely unrealistic, your mind may reject it before you even begin. If it feels too easy, it may not inspire consistent effort. Choose something meaningful enough to excite you and realistic enough to believe that steady work can make it happen. Many people wait until they feel completely confident before committing to a goal. Confidence rarely comes first. Confidence grows after repeated action. You do not need certainty before taking your first step. You need willingness. Each completed action teaches your mind that progress is possible. Fear often appears the moment you decide to pursue something important. This is normal. Fear does not always mean you are making the wrong decision. Sometimes fear simply means your goal matters enough that failure would be disappointing. Instead of asking how to remove fear completely, ask how to keep moving while fear exists. Courage is built through action, not through waiting. Comparison is another obstacle that quietly steals progress. Every person has a different starting point, different experiences, different strengths, different responsibilities. Comparing your beginning with someone else's years of experience creates unnecessary discouragement. Measure yourself against your own progress instead. Ask whether today's actions are better than yesterday's actions. Small improvements repeated consistently create remarkable change over time. There will also be people who misunderstand your goal. Some may question your choices. Others may suggest easier paths. Listen respectfully, but remember that advice should never replace personal responsibility. You are the one who must live with your decisions. Choose carefully, listen wisely, and remain faithful to what you know is meaningful. Your environment also influences your ability to stay committed. A cluttered workspace often creates a cluttered mind. Constant distractions reduce deep focus. Small changes in your surroundings can strengthen your discipline. Organize your workspace. Keep reminders of your goal where you can see them. Reduce unnecessary interruptions while you work. These simple adjustments help your daily actions match your long-term purpose. Writing your goal down is another powerful habit. Thoughts disappear quickly. Written commitments remain visible. Read your goal every morning. Read it every evening. This is not about repeating empty words. It is about reminding yourself of the person you are choosing to become. Every meaningful goal also requires sacrifice. Time spent watching endless entertainment cannot be spent learning valuable skills. Money spent carelessly cannot be invested in future opportunities. Energy wasted on unnecessary arguments cannot be used for meaningful work. Every choice carries a cost. Wise people choose costs that lead toward growth instead of comfort alone. Discipline becomes easier when your goal feels personal. If you are only working because someone else expects it, motivation fades quickly. When your work reflects your deepest values, even difficult days feel worthwhile. The effort becomes an investment rather than a burden. Patience deserves equal attention. Modern life encourages immediate results. Many people expect dramatic changes after only a few weeks of effort. Real transformation rarely follows that timeline. Character develops gradually. Skills improve gradually. Trust grows gradually. Financial stability grows gradually. Physical strength grows gradually. Accepting this truth protects you from unnecessary disappointment. Think about the person you hope to become 5 years from now. Picture how that person thinks. Notice how they speak. Observe how they treat others. Consider how they spend their mornings and evenings. Every version of your future self is built by today's repeated choices. The future is not created in one dramatic moment. It is created through ordinary actions performed consistently. There will be days when motivation disappears completely. Those days reveal the true value of discipline. Motivation depends on emotion. Discipline depends on commitment. Emotions rise and fall. Commitment remains steady because it is connected to purpose rather than mood. When you feel discouraged, reduce the size of the task instead of abandoning it. If you plan to study for 2 hours but feel exhausted, study for 20 minutes. If you planned a long workout but have little energy, complete a shorter session. Protect the habit even when circumstances are imperfect. Consistency matters more than occasional perfection. Celebrate progress without becoming satisfied too early. Acknowledge each improvement because gratitude strengthens confidence. At the same time, remember that every milestone is another beginning. Growth continues as long as you remain willing to learn. Your biggest goal should also improve more than your own life. Goals connected to service often create deeper fulfillment than goals focused only on personal gain. Consider how your success could benefit your family, your community, your future children, or the people who depend on you. Knowing that others may benefit from your effort creates additional strength during difficult seasons. Honesty also means accepting your weaknesses without allowing them to define you. Every person has areas that require improvement. Some struggle with procrastination, others struggle with fear, impatience, poor planning, or self-doubt. Identifying these weaknesses is not an admission of defeat, it is the beginning of growth. Problems that remain hidden rarely improve. Problems acknowledged honestly become opportunities for change. Ask yourself difficult questions. What habits keep holding you back? What excuses appear most often? What distractions steal your best hours? Which relationships encourage your growth, and which ones pull you away from your purpose? Honest answers create practical solutions. Responsibility is one of the greatest forms of personal freedom. The moment you stop blaming circumstances for everything, you begin discovering how much influence you actually possess. You cannot control every event that happens around you. You can control your preparation, your attitude, your effort, your learning, and your response. These areas are powerful enough to change the direction of your life. Your goal is not simply something you accomplish. It is also someone you become while pursuing it. Success achieved without personal growth often feels empty because the external result arrived without internal transformation. Lasting satisfaction comes from knowing that your discipline, integrity, patience, and character improved alongside your achievements. At the end of each day, spend a few quiet minutes reflecting. Ask yourself whether today's actions moved you closer to your goal. If the answer is yes, appreciate your progress and prepare for tomorrow. If the answer is no, avoid harsh self-criticism. Simply identify one improvement you can make. Small daily corrections prevent major future regrets. No one else can define the purpose of your life. Others may inspire you. They may teach valuable lessons. They may encourage your progress. But only you can choose the direction that gives your efforts meaning. That choice deserves careful thought because it becomes the foundation for everything that follows. A clear purpose brings calm during uncertainty. It creates confidence during confusion. It provides strength during difficulty. Every achievement that once seemed impossible began with someone deciding that their goal deserved honest commitment and consistent effort. Your future begins with the same decision. Choose carefully, choose honestly, then protect that decision with disciplined action every single day until the person you once imagined becomes the person you see in the mirror. Chapter 2. Build daily habits that move you closer every single day. Success is rarely decided by one extraordinary moment. It is shaped by the ordinary choices you make every day. The person you become is built through repeated actions, not occasional bursts of effort. Every habit either moves you closer to your goal or quietly pulls you away from it. There is no neutral direction. Even the smallest decision influences the path ahead. Many people wait for the perfect time to improve their lives. They believe they will become more disciplined when they have more free time, more money, or fewer responsibilities. That day often never arrives. Life continues to present new challenges, and those challenges are not a reason to delay your progress. They are a reason to begin now. The habits you build during difficult seasons become the habits that carry you through future obstacles. A habit is simply an action that becomes part of your normal routine. At first, it requires attention and effort. Over time, it becomes something you do almost automatically. This is why habits are so powerful. They reduce the need to rely on motivation every single day. Instead of making the same decision repeatedly, you create a routine that supports your goals without constant mental effort. Think about how your day begins. The first hour often influences everything that follows. If your morning starts with distraction, rushing, and reacting to whatever appears in front of you, the rest of the day often feels scattered. If your morning begins with purpose, your mind stays calmer and your decisions become more intentional. A simple morning routine can create a strong foundation. Wake up at a consistent time whenever possible. Give yourself a few quiet moments before reaching for your phone. Drink water. Take a few deep breaths. Read something that encourages growth. Review your most important goal. Decide on the one task that deserves your full attention today. These actions may seem small, but together they prepare your mind for productive work. Do not underestimate the value of consistency. Reading 10 pages every day may not seem impressive at first, but after 1 year, you will have completed several meaningful books. Saving a small amount of money regularly may not seem life-changing today, but over time it creates financial security. Exercising for 30 minutes each day gradually improves your health far more than exercising intensely once every few weeks. People often ignore small actions because they want immediate results. They become discouraged when progress is invisible after only a short time. Growth usually happens quietly before it becomes obvious. A tree does not reach its full height in a few days. Learning a new skill does not happen after one lesson. Strong relationships are not built through one conversation. Lasting results require patience supported by daily effort. Choose habits that are directly connected to your biggest goal. If you want to become healthier, create habits around nutrition, movement, and quality sleep. If you want to improve your career, spend time learning valuable skills every day. If you want stronger relationships, make communication and genuine attention part of your routine. Every habit should answer one simple question: does this move me closer to the person I want to become? Avoid filling your schedule with activities that simply make you feel busy. Being occupied is not the same as making progress. Many people complete dozens of small tasks while ignoring the one action that would create the greatest improvement. Before your day begins, identify the most valuable task. Complete it before less important activities demand your attention. Protect your attention carefully. Every notification, unnecessary conversation, and endless scroll through social media competes for your focus. Time disappears quickly when your attention is divided. Create moments during the day when you work without interruptions. Even 1 hour of focused effort often produces better results than several hours filled with distractions. Your environment can either support your habits or make them more difficult. If healthy food is easy to reach, making better choices becomes simpler. If your books are visible, reading becomes more likely. If your workspace is organized, concentrating becomes easier. Design your surroundings so that good habits require less effort and unhealthy habits become less convenient. Preparation is another important habit that many people overlook. Spend a few minutes each evening preparing for tomorrow. Lay out your clothes if you exercise in the morning. Prepare your work materials before going to bed. Write tomorrow's priorities on paper. Small preparations reduce unnecessary decisions and help you begin the next day with confidence. One common mistake is trying to change everything at once. Excitement often leads people to create long lists of new habits. They decide to wake up earlier, exercise daily, read more books, eat perfectly, learn a language, meditate, and completely reorganize their lives all at the same time. This approach usually creates frustration because it demands more energy than most people can sustain. Instead, focus on one habit until it becomes natural. Once it feels stable, add another. Slow and steady improvement creates stronger foundations than dramatic changes that disappear after a few weeks. Real transformation respects the process. Keep your habits simple enough that you can continue them even on difficult days. If your exercise routine is impossible to maintain during busy weeks, simplify it instead of quitting. If your reading goal feels overwhelming, reduce the number of pages without abandoning the habit. Progress continues when you adapt instead of giving up. Tracking your habits can also strengthen consistency. Mark each successful day on a calendar or write it in a notebook. Watching your progress grow creates a sense of responsibility. More importantly, it helps you recognize patterns. You begin to notice what helps you stay consistent and what causes you to lose focus. There will be days when you miss a habit. This does not mean you have failed. One missed day is a small setback. 2 missed days can become the beginning of a new pattern. When you fall behind, return to your routine as quickly as possible. Do not waste energy feeling guilty. Use that energy to continue moving forward. Pay attention to the habits that quietly waste your potential. Staying awake too late, complaining frequently, postponing important work, and spending hours consuming information without taking action slowly reduce your progress. These habits often seem harmless because they do not create immediate consequences. Over time, however, they shape your future just as much as positive habits do. Replace harmful routines with constructive alternatives. Instead of reaching for your phone the moment you wake up, review your daily priorities. Instead of watching another hour of entertainment before bed, spend that time learning something useful or reflecting on your day. Instead of complaining about problems, write down one practical solution you can begin today. The people around you also influence your habits. If those closest to you value discipline, learning, and responsibility, maintaining positive routines becomes easier. If your environment encourages excuses and constant distraction, staying focused requires greater effort. Choose relationships that support the life you are trying to build. Reward yourself in healthy ways when you remain consistent. Acknowledge your effort without becoming satisfied too early. Celebrate milestones, but continue looking forward. Every achievement is proof that your habits are working. Use that evidence to strengthen your confidence rather than reduce your commitment. Do not confuse comfort with happiness. Many comfortable choices create temporary pleasure, but delay meaningful progress. Growth often requires choosing what is beneficial over what is immediately enjoyable. Waking up early may not always feel comfortable. Studying after a long day may require extra effort. Saving money instead of spending it may demand self-control. These choices become easier when you remember the life you are creating. Your identity grows from your repeated actions. If you write every day, you begin seeing yourself as a writer. If you exercise consistently, you begin thinking of yourself as someone who values health. If you keep your promises to yourself, your self-respect grows stronger. Every habit sends a message to your mind about who you are becoming. Be careful about the promises you make to yourself. Each time you decide to complete a task and follow through, you strengthen trust in your own character. Each time you repeatedly ignore your commitments, that trust weakens. Self-confidence is not built by repeating positive words. It grows when your actions match your intentions. Discipline becomes less difficult when your habits fit naturally into your daily life. Attach new habits to routines that already exist. Read after breakfast, stretch before taking a shower. Review your goals before starting work. Reflect on your progress before going to sleep. Linking habits together creates a rhythm that is easier to maintain. Take time each week to review your routines honestly. Ask yourself which habits helped you move forward and which ones slowed your progress. Be willing to adjust your approach. Improvement is not about following the same routine forever. It is about finding better ways to support your goals while remaining consistent. Remember that your future is being built today, not someday. The choices you make this morning influence the opportunities available to you months and years from now. Every healthy meal strengthens your body. Every focused hour develops your skills. Every thoughtful conversation improves your relationships. Every honest effort increases your confidence. There is great value in finishing what you start. Even when a task feels ordinary, completing it strengthens discipline. Your character is shaped not only by exciting achievements but also by your willingness to perform simple responsibilities with care and consistency. Excellence grows from ordinary actions performed well. Do not search for shortcuts that promise instant success. Lasting achievement has always been connected to steady effort. Skills improve through practice. Trust grows through reliability. Wisdom develops through experience and reflection. Strong habits honor this reality because they focus on daily improvement instead of quick results. Each evening, pause for a few moments and ask yourself whether your actions reflected your values. Consider what went well and where you can improve tomorrow. This daily reflection keeps your habits connected to your purpose instead of allowing them to become empty routines. The life you hope to achieve is not waiting at the end of one perfect decision. It is being created by hundreds of ordinary decisions, repeated with intention. Every meaningful habit becomes another step toward the future you have chosen. Continue taking those steps with patience, discipline, and quiet determination. One day you will look back and realize that the small actions you almost ignored became the very reason your biggest goals became reality. Chapter 3. Strengthen your mindset through discipline, patience, and consistent action. Your mindset is the way you interpret your experiences, respond to challenges, and decide what to do next. It quietly influences every decision you make, whether you notice it or not. Two people can face the same situation and produce completely different outcomes because they think differently about what is happening. One sees an obstacle that cannot be overcome, the other sees a problem that requires patience, effort, and another attempt. The difference is not luck. The difference is the quality of their thinking. A strong mindset is not something people are born with. It is developed over time through repeated choices. It grows every time you refuse to surrender to frustration. It becomes stronger each time you remain calm during uncertainty. It improves whenever you choose responsibility over excuses. Like every valuable quality, it must be trained through consistent practice. Discipline is one of the greatest teachers of mental strength. It teaches you to act according to your values instead of your emotions. Feelings are temporary. They change from one day to the next. Some mornings you will wake up feeling excited. Other mornings you may feel tired, uncertain, or discouraged. If your actions depend entirely on how you feel, your progress will always be unpredictable. Discipline creates stability because it reminds you that important work deserves attention regardless of your mood. There is quiet confidence in keeping your word to yourself. Every time you complete a commitment you made, you strengthen your trust in your own character. That trust becomes an inner source of strength. You no longer wonder whether you can rely on yourself because your daily actions provide the answer. Confidence is built through evidence, and your actions become that evidence. Patience is another quality that shapes a resilient mind. Modern life encourages people to expect immediate results. News arrives instantly. Messages are delivered within seconds. Many services are designed to eliminate waiting. This speed creates unrealistic expectations in areas where real growth cannot be rushed. Learning a valuable skill takes time. Building meaningful relationships requires consistent care. Creating financial security demands years of wise decisions. Becoming emotionally mature is a gradual process. When progress feels slow, Impatience often whispers that your effort is meaningless. This is the moment when many people quit. They mistake temporary silence for permanent failure. They forget that meaningful improvement often happens beneath the surface before it becomes visible. Continue doing the work, even when results appear small. Your character is developing long before your achievements become obvious to others. A disciplined mind learns to separate what can be controlled from what cannot. You cannot control every opinion people have about you. You cannot control unexpected events or every opportunity that appears. You cannot change the past no matter how much you regret it. You can control your preparation, your honesty, your willingness to learn, and the quality of your effort today. Focusing your energy on these areas creates peace, because your attention remains where it can produce real change. Complaining often feels easier than solving problems, but it rarely improves anything. A strong mindset asks a different question. Instead of asking why something happened, ask what can be done now. This shift changes your relationship with difficulty. Problems become invitations to think more clearly instead of reasons to lose hope. Challenges reveal habits of thought that ordinary days often hide. When everything goes according to plan, almost anyone can remain calm. When unexpected setbacks appear, your mindset is tested. Do you panic or do you pause? Do you react emotionally or do you evaluate the situation carefully? The answers to these questions influence the direction of your future. Develop the habit of creating space between an event and your response. Not every situation requires an immediate reaction. Sometimes the wisest choice is to stop for a moment, breathe, and think before speaking or acting. This simple pause prevents unnecessary mistakes and allows reason to guide your decisions. Negative thoughts will appear from time to time. No one is completely free from doubt. The goal is not to eliminate every discouraging thought. The goal is to decide which thoughts deserve your attention. A passing doubt does not have to become a permanent belief. Notice it, examine it honestly, and replace it with a more balanced perspective, supported by facts rather than fear. For example, if you make a mistake, your mind may quickly conclude that you are not capable. Instead of accepting that conclusion, examine the evidence. One mistake does not define your ability. It simply shows that another lesson is needed. This way of thinking encourages improvement instead of discouragement. Guard your attention carefully, because your mindset is influenced by what you consume each day. Constant exposure to negativity, endless comparison, and unnecessary conflict gradually affects the way you think. Fill your mind with ideas that encourage wisdom, responsibility, and personal growth. Read books that challenge your thinking. Listen to people who speak with honesty and experience. Spend less time consuming information that adds anxiety without providing value. The questions you ask yourself also shape your mindset. If you constantly ask why life is unfair, your attention stays focused on disappointment. If you ask what lesson can be learned from this experience, your attention shifts toward growth. Better questions often lead to better decisions. Discipline also means managing your inner conversations. Speak to yourself with honesty rather than harsh criticism. Accept responsibility for mistakes without attacking your own worth. There is a difference between saying you made a poor decision and believing you are incapable of making good decisions. One encourages improvement, the other creates unnecessary defeat. Every difficult season contains opportunities to develop qualities that comfort never teaches. Patience grows while waiting. Courage develops when fear is present. Self-control becomes stronger when temptation appears. Wisdom increases through reflection after mistakes. Instead of asking how to avoid every challenge, ask how each challenge can help you become stronger. Your daily routines influence your mental strength more than dramatic moments. Quality sleep improves your ability to think clearly. Physical movement increases energy and reduces stress. Healthy nutrition supports concentration. Quiet reflection gives your mind space to organize its thoughts. Taking care of your body also supports the health of your mind, because the two are deeply connected. Do not allow temporary emotions to become permanent decisions. There will be days when disappointment feels overwhelming. Avoid making major choices while controlled by anger, fear, or frustration. Give yourself time to think clearly. Strong minds recognize the importance of responding wisely instead of reacting impulsively. Another important practice is learning to finish difficult tasks even when they become uncomfortable. Many people begin with enthusiasm but stop when the work becomes repetitive. Discipline teaches you to continue after excitement disappears. This ability separates those who merely start from those who eventually succeed. Respect the value of gradual improvement. Imagine becoming only slightly wiser each month. At first, the difference seems almost invisible. After several years, however, the accumulated knowledge changes the quality of your decisions. Small improvements repeated consistently produce extraordinary results because they continue building upon one another. Avoid defining yourself by temporary circumstances. Losing a job does not mean you have lost your value. Experiencing failure does not mean you are a failure. Facing rejection does not mean you are unworthy of future opportunities. Situations change. Character remains under your influence. Protect your character even when circumstances become difficult. Seek feedback from people who genuinely want to see you grow. Honest advice may feel uncomfortable, but it often reveals blind spots that are difficult to notice on your own. Listen carefully, without becoming defensive. Improvement begins when pride gives way to learning. Practice gratitude even while pursuing ambitious goals. Gratitude does not reduce your desire for improvement. Instead, it reminds you to appreciate what is already good, while continuing to build a better future. This balance protects your mind from becoming trapped in constant dissatisfaction. Silence can become a valuable teacher. Spend a few minutes each day away from noise and constant stimulation. Reflect on your choices. Consider your priorities. Notice where your attention has been focused. Quiet moments strengthen self-awareness, and self-awareness is essential for meaningful growth. Take responsibility for your standards. Do not lower them simply because maintaining them requires effort. High standards encourage careful thinking, honest work, and dependable behavior. They are not about perfection. They are about refusing to settle for habits that prevent you from becoming your best. Accept that progress is rarely a straight path. Some days will be productive. Others will feel slower than expected. One difficult day does not erase weeks of consistent effort. Continue moving forward without allowing temporary setbacks to change your long-term commitment. Remember that discipline becomes easier when connected to purpose. If your actions have no meaningful reason behind them, persistence becomes difficult. Keep your purpose visible in your mind. Return to it whenever you feel distracted or discouraged. A clear reason provides strength when motivation begins to fade. Your mindset also influences the people around you. Calmness during difficulty encourages confidence in others. Responsibility inspires trust. Patience creates stability in relationships. Your inner strength becomes visible through the way you speak, solve problems, and treat people during challenging moments. Do not wait for life to become easier before deciding to become stronger. Mental strength is developed by working through ordinary challenges with extraordinary consistency. Every thoughtful decision, every completed responsibility, every moment of patience, and every disciplined action adds another layer to your character. At the end of each day, ask yourself a few honest questions. Did you remain faithful to your values? Did you respond wisely when difficulties appeared? Did you allow temporary emotions to control your decisions, or did you choose discipline instead? These simple reflections help strengthen your awareness and prepare you to improve tomorrow. The strongest mindset is not loud or proud. It does not need constant recognition from others. It quietly continues doing what is right, even when nobody is watching. It accepts responsibility without complaint, learns from every experience, remains patient during slow progress, and refuses to surrender when the journey becomes demanding. As this way of thinking becomes part of your daily life, challenges lose much of their power to discourage you. You begin to see obstacles as situations to manage rather than reasons to stop. You trust the process because you have experienced the value of consistent effort. Your confidence no longer depends on perfect conditions. It grows from the knowledge that whatever tomorrow brings, you have developed the discipline, patience, and steady action needed to face it with strength, wisdom, and determination. Chapter 4. Replace limiting beliefs with confident thoughts and positive decisions. The greatest barriers in life are often invisible. They are not locked doors, difficult circumstances, or limited resources. They are the beliefs you quietly accept about yourself. These beliefs shape your choices long before you see the results. They influence what you attempt, what you avoid, how you respond to failure, and what you believe you deserve. If your beliefs convince you that success belongs only to other people, you will hesitate even when opportunities appear. If your beliefs remind you that growth is always possible, you will continue moving forward even when the path becomes difficult. Many limiting beliefs are formed long before we recognize them. They can begin with careless words spoken by someone else, repeated disappointments, or experiences that made us question our abilities. Over time, these ideas become familiar, and familiarity often makes them feel true. A person may believe they are not intelligent enough, talented enough, disciplined enough, or capable enough, simply because they have repeated those thoughts for many years. Repetition does not create truth. It only strengthens a habit of thinking. One of the most important skills you can develop is learning to question the stories you tell yourself. Every belief deserves examination. Ask yourself whether your conclusions are based on facts or assumptions. There is a significant difference between saying, "I have not succeeded yet," and saying, "I will never succeed." The first statement leaves room for growth. The second closes the door before another attempt has even begun. Pay attention to the words you use when describing yourself. Language influences the way you think. If you constantly describe yourself as unlucky, incapable, or destined to fail, your actions slowly begin to reflect those descriptions. Instead, speak with honesty while allowing space for improvement. If a skill is weak, acknowledge that it needs practice rather than deciding it can never improve. Honest language creates realistic confidence because it focuses on progress instead of permanent labels. Confidence is often misunderstood. Many people believe it means feeling certain all the time or never experiencing fear. Real confidence is much quieter. It is the willingness to take the next step, even when the outcome is uncertain. It is trusting that you can learn, adapt, and recover if things do not go according to plan. Confidence does not require knowing every answer. It requires believing that you can continue growing. Every positive decision strengthens your confidence because it becomes evidence of your character. Choosing to finish a responsibility, speak honestly, learn a new skill, or face an uncomfortable situation reminds your mind that you are capable of making wise choices. Confidence grows through experience, not imagination. Every responsible action becomes another reason to trust yourself. Be careful not to confuse confidence with arrogance. Arrogance refuses to learn because it assumes it already knows enough. Confidence remains open to improvement because it understands that learning never ends. A confident person listens carefully, accepts helpful advice, and welcomes opportunities to become better without feeling threatened. Many people spend years waiting for confidence before taking action. They believe they must feel completely prepared before beginning something important. This approach keeps them standing still because complete certainty rarely arrives first. Confidence is developed by participating, practicing, making mistakes, and improving. Every attempt teaches something valuable that preparation alone cannot provide. When doubt appears, avoid allowing it to become your decision maker. Doubt is a feeling, not a command. You can notice it without obeying it. Imagine someone preparing for an important presentation. Doubt may suggest they are not ready. Instead of canceling the opportunity, they continue preparing, practicing, and improving. By taking action despite uncertainty, they weaken the influence of that limiting belief. Another powerful way to replace limiting beliefs is by collecting evidence of your own progress. Keep a record of challenges you have overcome, skills you have developed, and goals you have achieved. During difficult moments, your mind naturally remembers failures more easily than successes. Written reminders help restore balance. They prove that growth has already happened and can continue. Do not allow one disappointing experience to become the definition of your future. Every successful person has encountered rejection, mistakes, criticism, and unexpected setbacks. What separated them from others was not the absence of difficulty, but their refusal to let temporary events determine permanent beliefs. They viewed each experience as information rather than final judgment. Take responsibility for the choices you make today instead of carrying unnecessary guilt from yesterday. Regret can become useful when it teaches a lesson. It becomes harmful when it convinces you that improvement is impossible. Learn from the past without allowing it to control your future. Every new day offers another opportunity to make decisions that reflect the person you are becoming. Surround your mind with examples of growth rather than constant negativity. Read biographies of people who improved through perseverance. Listen to thoughtful conversations that encourage responsibility and wisdom. Spend time with individuals who challenge you to become stronger, instead of reinforcing excuses. The ideas you hear repeatedly gradually influence the beliefs you accept. Be willing to enter situations where you are still learning. Many people avoid unfamiliar experiences because they fear looking inexperienced. This fear limits development. Every expert was once a beginner. Every accomplished person once lacked the skills they later mastered. Growth always begins with humility and the willingness to improve one step at a time. Positive decisions are often small and ordinary. Choosing to prepare instead of procrastinating. Choosing to apologize instead of defending a mistake. Choosing to save money instead of spending impulsively. Choosing to study when entertainment feels easier. These decisions may seem insignificant in isolation, but together they shape a life built on responsibility and self-respect. Do not underestimate the influence of your daily environment. If your surroundings constantly reinforce negative thinking, changing your beliefs becomes more difficult. Organize your space in a way that encourages productive action. Keep books, notebooks, or learning materials within easy reach. Reduce unnecessary distractions that encourage avoidance instead of growth. Your environment should remind you of your goals rather than pulling your attention away from them. Another effective practice is visualizing your future with realism rather than fantasy. Imagine yourself acting with integrity, completing responsibilities, speaking with confidence, and handling challenges wisely. Focus on the behaviors that create success, rather than simply imagining the final result. This mental preparation helps your mind become familiar with positive action before important moments arrive. Accept that mistakes are part of learning, rather than proof of failure. A child learning to walk falls many times before taking steady steps. No one expects perfection during that process, because everyone understands learning requires repetition. The same principle applies throughout life. New skills demand patience. Errors simply identify areas that require additional practice. Your relationships also influence your beliefs. Spend time with people who recognize your potential while remaining honest about your need for improvement. Healthy encouragement is different from empty praise. Genuine supporters celebrate your progress while reminding you to remain disciplined and committed. Replace the habit of asking whether you are good enough with a more useful question. Ask whether you are willing to improve. The first question often creates anxiety because it seeks permanent approval. The second encourages action because it focuses on development. Improvement is always within your influence. Take ownership of your personal standards instead of allowing public opinion to define your worth. People will sometimes misunderstand your decisions. Some may doubt your goals or question your direction. Respect their right to hold different opinions, but do not surrender your future to their expectations. Build your life according to principles that align with honesty, responsibility, and meaningful purpose. Develop the courage to challenge your own assumptions. If you believe you cannot learn a particular skill, ask yourself what evidence truly supports that belief. Have you practiced consistently? Have you sought guidance from experienced people? Have you allowed enough time for improvement? Honest answers often reveal that the limitation exists more in expectation than in ability. Self-respect grows whenever your choices reflect your values. Every responsible decision sends a quiet message that you are becoming someone worthy of trust. This process cannot be rushed or purchased. It is earned through daily actions that match your intentions. Over time, your identity becomes stronger because it is supported by consistent behavior rather than wishful thinking. There will be moments when progress feels slower than expected. During those seasons, avoid returning to old patterns of thinking simply because they feel familiar. Continue choosing constructive thoughts supported by evidence. Continue making wise decisions even when immediate rewards are absent. Lasting confidence develops gradually through repeated experiences of keeping your commitments. Generosity also changes the way you think about yourself. Helping others, sharing knowledge, encouraging someone who feels discouraged, or offering support during difficult times reminds you that your life has value beyond personal achievement. Service strengthens confidence because it shifts your attention from insecurity to contribution. Practice gratitude for the abilities you already possess while continuing to develop new ones. Appreciating your current strengths does not prevent future growth. Instead, it creates a balanced perspective that recognizes both your progress and your potential. Gratitude protects you from constant dissatisfaction, while ambition keeps you moving forward. At the end of each day, review the decisions you made. Notice where you acted with courage, where you demonstrated honesty, and where you chose growth over comfort. Also identify areas that need improvement without becoming discouraged. Reflection turns ordinary experiences into valuable lessons and prepares you to make even better decisions tomorrow. Your future is not controlled by the doubts you inherited or the fears you once believed. It is shaped by the beliefs you choose to strengthen today. Every confident thought supported by responsible action weakens the influence of old limitations. Every positive decision creates another opportunity to become stronger, wiser, and more capable than you were yesterday. As you continue this journey, remember that your greatest transformation does not begin when the world changes its opinion of you. It begins when you stop allowing outdated beliefs to decide what is possible. Replace hesitation with preparation. Replace excuses with responsibility. Replace self-doubt with consistent action. Day after day, these choices reshape your thinking, strengthen your character, and open doors that once seemed beyond your reach. Eventually, you will discover that the limits you feared were never fixed. They were simply waiting for the moment you decided to outgrow them. Chapter 5. Master your time by focusing on what truly matters most. Time is the one resource every person receives in equal measure each day, yet the results people create with it are remarkably different. Some build meaningful careers, strong families, valuable skills, and lasting peace. Others constantly feel rushed, overwhelmed, and disappointed because their attention is scattered across countless unimportant activities. The difference is rarely found in having more hours. It is found in using those hours with greater intention. Every morning presents a new opportunity to decide what deserves your energy. Those decisions quietly shape the direction of your life. If you consistently give your best attention to activities that produce little value, important goals remain distant. If you regularly invest your strongest effort in work that truly matters, progress becomes steady and meaningful. The quality of your future is closely connected to the quality of your daily choices. Many people believe they have a time management problem when they actually have a priority problem. They fill their schedules with requests, meetings, notifications, conversations, and entertainment, without asking whether those activities deserve so much attention. A full calendar does not always represent a productive life. Sometimes it simply reveals a lack of thoughtful decision-making. The first step toward mastering your time is deciding what is genuinely important. This requires honesty. Ask yourself what kind of life you want to create over the next 5 or 10 years. Consider the relationships you want to strengthen, the abilities you want to develop, the work you want to accomplish, and the values you want your life to reflect. Once these priorities become clear, your schedule should begin to reflect them. Every hour spent on something meaningful is an investment. Every hour wasted on unnecessary distractions is an opportunity that cannot be recovered. This reality is not meant to create fear. It is meant to encourage awareness. Time moves forward, whether you use it wisely or carelessly. Learning to respect it is one of the greatest acts of self-respect. Begin each day with a clear plan instead of allowing circumstances to decide your direction. Before responsibilities begin demanding your attention, identify the few tasks that will make the greatest difference. Avoid creating endless lists that leave you feeling overwhelmed. Select the actions that genuinely move your life forward. Completing a few meaningful tasks creates greater progress than partially completing many unimportant ones. Protect the hours when your mind is naturally at its strongest. Most people experience periods during the day when their concentration is highest. Use those valuable hours for thinking, creating, solving problems, or learning new skills. Save routine activities for times when your energy naturally decreases. Matching your work to your energy allows you to accomplish more without working longer. Many distractions appear harmless because they require only a few minutes. A quick glance at a notification becomes half an hour. A short conversation leads to another delay. One unnecessary interruption often creates several more because your attention takes time to recover. Every distraction carries a hidden cost. It interrupts your focus, slows your progress, and makes important work feel more difficult than it actually is. Learn to create periods of uninterrupted concentration. During these times, silence unnecessary notifications, step away from distractions, and give your complete attention to one task. Deep focus allows your mind to think more clearly, solve problems more effectively, and complete work with greater quality. A single hour of complete concentration often produces more value than several hours of divided attention. Saying yes to everything usually means saying no to something important. Every commitment occupies time that could have been invested elsewhere. Before accepting new responsibilities, ask whether they support your long-term priorities. If they do not, consider whether they are truly necessary. Respectfully declining certain requests creates space for the work that matters most. Many people underestimate the value of preparation. A few minutes spent organizing your day can save hours of confusion later. Keep your workspace orderly. Gather the materials you need before beginning an important project. Review your schedule in advance. Anticipate possible challenges and think about how you will respond. Preparation reduces unnecessary stress because it replaces uncertainty with readiness. One useful habit is assigning a specific purpose to each part of your day. Instead of moving randomly from one activity to another, decide in advance what each period will accomplish. This approach reduces wasted time because every hour has a clear direction. When you know what deserves your attention, it becomes easier to resist distractions that offer temporary satisfaction but no lasting value. Avoid confusing urgency with importance. Some tasks demand immediate attention but contribute very little to your long-term goals. Other activities produce significant benefits, even though they are not urgent today. Reading, learning, exercising, planning, and strengthening relationships often fall into this second category. Because they do not demand immediate attention, they are frequently postponed, yet these activities quietly shape the quality of your future. Give yourself permission to slow down when thoughtful decisions are needed. Rushing through important choices often creates mistakes that require even more time to correct. Careful thinking is never wasted. A few minutes spent evaluating your options can prevent months of unnecessary difficulty. Rest also deserves a place in a well-managed life. Constant exhaustion does not represent dedication. It often reduces creativity, weakens judgment, and increases mistakes. Meaningful rest restores your ability to think clearly and work effectively. Sleep, quiet reflection, and time spent with loved ones strengthen your ability to contribute with energy and focus. Be mindful of activities that consume attention without providing meaningful return. Endless scrolling, unnecessary arguments, excessive worrying, and constant comparison quietly drain valuable hours. Ask yourself whether an activity leaves you feeling stronger, wiser, or more prepared for your goals. If the answer is consistently no, consider reducing the time you devote to it. Planning should remain flexible rather than rigid. Unexpected situations will arise. Plans sometimes need adjustment. Adaptability allows you to respond wisely without abandoning your priorities. A thoughtful plan provides direction, but wisdom allows you to respond calmly when circumstances change. The ability to finish one task before beginning another is becoming increasingly rare. Many people attempt to do several things at once, believing this increases productivity. In reality, constantly switching between activities often reduces quality and extends completion time. Give your full attention to the task before you. Finish it with care before moving forward. Your relationships also deserve intentional time. Success loses much of its meaning if achieved at the cost of the people who matter most. Schedule meaningful conversations with family and friends. Listen without rushing. Be fully present during those moments. Time invested in healthy relationships creates memories and trust that cannot be replaced later. Review your week regularly. Look honestly at how your hours were spent. Identify activities that supported your values and those that distracted you from them. Do not judge yourself harshly. Simply notice patterns and make thoughtful adjustments. Improvement comes through awareness, followed by consistent action. Learn the difference between being productive and simply staying occupied. Productivity creates progress toward meaningful goals. Busyness often creates the appearance of effort without producing valuable results. At the end of each day, ask yourself what truly moved your life forward, rather than how many tasks you completed. One powerful habit is leaving small spaces between major responsibilities. Constantly moving from one commitment to another without a pause increases stress and reduces clarity. A few quiet minutes allow your mind to recover, reflect, and prepare for what comes next. These moments improve the quality of your attention throughout the day. Remember that every choice carries an opportunity cost. Whenever you decide how to spend an hour, you are also deciding what you will not accomplish during that time. This perspective encourages wiser decisions because it reminds you that attention is limited. Spend it where it creates the greatest long-term value. Develop patience with long-term projects. Important goals are rarely completed in a single week or month. They require repeated investment over extended periods. Continue giving your attention to these projects even when visible progress feels slow. Consistent effort applied over time produces results that rushed work cannot achieve. Do not wait for perfect conditions before beginning meaningful work. Some people spend years preparing without taking action because they believe they need more knowledge, better circumstances, or complete certainty. Progress belongs to those who begin with what they already have, while continuing to learn along the way. Respect your personal boundaries. Protect time for learning, reflection, health, and meaningful relationships. Others may not always understand these boundaries, but your responsibility is to build a life aligned with your deepest values, rather than constantly satisfying every external expectation. Keep your goals visible. A written reminder placed where you can see it each day helps maintain focus. When distractions appear, this reminder encourages you to ask whether your current activity supports the future you want to create. Simple reminders often prevent unnecessary detours. Every season of life brings different responsibilities. Some periods require greater attention to family. Others demand focused learning or professional growth. Accept these changing seasons with wisdom instead of comparing your schedule to someone else's. The important question is not whether your life looks like another person's, it is whether your time reflects your own priorities. Avoid postponing meaningful conversations or important decisions simply because they feel uncomfortable. Delays often increase anxiety without improving the situation. Address challenges with honesty and calmness. Difficult moments handled early usually require less energy than problems ignored for too long. Gratitude changes the way you experience time. Instead of constantly wishing for another stage of life, appreciate the opportunities available today. This mindset encourages presence. It reminds you that today's ordinary moments will one day become valuable memories. Live them with attention instead of rushing through them. Your schedule quietly reveals your values. The way you spend your mornings, afternoons, and evenings tells a story about what matters most to you. If your daily actions consistently support your purpose, your future gradually becomes aligned with your intentions. If they do not, small adjustments made today can create remarkable change over time. There is great peace in knowing that your hours are being invested wisely. You no longer feel controlled by constant urgency because your attention follows thoughtful priorities. You become less distracted by activities that offer little value and more committed to work that leaves a lasting impact. As you continue this journey, remember that mastering your time is not about filling every minute with activity. It is about living with clarity, choosing wisely, and giving your best attention to the people, responsibilities, and goals that deserve it most. Every well-used hour becomes another step toward the life you have chosen to build. Over the years, those hours combine to create a future defined not by chance, but by deliberate decisions made one day at a time. Chapter 6. Develop resilience by learning from every setback without giving up. No meaningful journey is free from setbacks. Every worthwhile goal demands persistence through moments that test your patience, confidence, and determination. There will be days when your plans fail, your efforts produce disappointing results, or unexpected events force you to begin again. These experiences are not signs that you have chosen the wrong path. They are part of the process of becoming stronger, wiser, and more capable. Resilience is the ability to continue moving forward without allowing temporary difficulties to decide your future. Many people admire successful individuals without realizing how many disappointments they experienced before reaching their goals. Success often hides the long periods of uncertainty, repeated mistakes, quiet persistence, and countless moments when giving up would have seemed easier. What made the difference was not the absence of failure, it was the decision to continue learning instead of stopping. A setback changes nothing about your worth as a person. It only changes your current result. These are two completely different things. Losing an opportunity does not reduce your value. Receiving criticism does not erase your abilities. Experiencing disappointment does not mean your future has been decided. Separating your identity from your temporary circumstances allows you to recover with greater clarity and confidence. When something goes wrong, your first reaction matters. It is natural to feel frustrated or discouraged. Those emotions are part of being human. However, allowing those feelings to control every decision often creates additional problems. Give yourself time to acknowledge what happened, but do not remain trapped in that moment. After the initial emotion begins to settle, ask yourself what this experience can teach you. Every challenge contains information. A failed project may reveal weaknesses in planning. A difficult conversation may show the importance of listening more carefully. A financial mistake may highlight the need for better preparation. An unhealthy habit may remind you that long-term success depends on daily responsibility. These lessons become valuable only when you are willing to examine them honestly. Avoid blaming everything outside your control. While circumstances sometimes create genuine difficulties, constantly searching for someone else to blame prevents growth. Taking responsibility does not mean accepting fault for every situation. It means focusing your attention on the parts of the situation you can improve. This mindset transforms setbacks into opportunities for development because it keeps your energy directed toward action instead of frustration. Resilience begins with accepting reality exactly as it is. Denying problems or pretending they do not exist only delays progress. Face the situation honestly. Ask yourself what happened, why it happened, and what can be done differently next time. Honest reflection is far more productive than endless regret. Do not expect every attempt to produce immediate success. Learning requires experimentation. Some ideas will work, others will not. Every result provides valuable feedback. Instead of asking whether you succeeded or failed, ask what you discovered through the experience. This simple shift changes disappointment into education. Patience becomes especially important during difficult seasons. After experiencing a setback, many people expect to recover immediately. Real recovery often happens gradually. Confidence returns one responsible action at a time. Progress begins with small improvements rather than dramatic changes. Allow yourself the time needed to rebuild while continuing to move forward. There is great strength in maintaining hope during uncertain moments. Hope is not blind optimism or pretending that everything is easy. Hope is the decision to believe that today's difficulty does not have to become tomorrow's reality. It is confidence that effort combined with wisdom can create better outcomes over time. Be willing to adjust your methods without abandoning your purpose. Sometimes the goal remains correct while the strategy requires improvement. If one approach fails, search for another. Flexibility increases resilience because it prevents unnecessary attachment to ineffective habits. Growth often requires changing how you work, rather than changing what you are working toward. Your daily attitude toward small setbacks prepares you for larger challenges. If minor inconveniences immediately create frustration, greater difficulties become overwhelming. Practice responding calmly when simple things go wrong. Delayed plans, unexpected interruptions, or minor mistakes provide opportunities to strengthen emotional stability. These ordinary moments quietly build the resilience needed for more significant obstacles. The people you choose to spend time with also influence your ability to recover. Encouraging individuals remind you of your strengths, while helping you see areas that need improvement. They offer honest support instead of empty promises. They help you remain focused on solutions, rather than allowing disappointment to define your future. Protect yourself from unnecessary comparison after experiencing setbacks. Looking at someone else's achievements while ignoring their struggles creates an unfair picture. Every person faces challenges that are often invisible to others. Focus your attention on your own progress and the lessons available through your own experiences. Self-compassion plays an important role in resilience. Treat yourself with the same fairness you would offer a close friend who is working hard to improve. Accept mistakes without using them as evidence against your character. Hold yourself accountable while remembering that growth always involves learning through experience. Develop the habit of asking better questions after every disappointment. Instead of asking why this always happens to you, ask what skills need strengthening. Instead of asking whether you are capable, ask what preparation would increase your chances next time. Questions that encourage action create movement. Questions rooted in helplessness create stagnation. There will be moments when progress feels invisible. During those times, remember that resilience often develops quietly. The patience you practice today may not produce immediate rewards, but it prepares you for future opportunities. Every difficult experience handled with wisdom strengthens qualities that success alone cannot teach. Physical well-being also influences emotional resilience. A tired body often struggles to think clearly during stressful situations. Adequate sleep, healthy meals, regular movement, and proper rest provide the energy needed to face challenges with greater stability. Taking care of yourself is not a luxury. It supports your ability to remain strong during demanding seasons. Never allow one difficult chapter to become the entire story of your life. Every day offers another opportunity to make better choices. The past cannot be rewritten, but the next decision always remains within your influence. Focus your attention on what you can do today rather than becoming trapped by what happened yesterday. Resilient people understand that discomfort is temporary. Difficult emotions eventually pass. circumstances change, skills improve, opportunities appear again. This understanding provides strength during moments when giving up seems tempting. Temporary pain should never convince you to abandon a meaningful future. Celebrate the courage required simply to continue. Sometimes the greatest achievement is not reaching the finish line immediately. Sometimes it is choosing to stand up after disappointment and begin another attempt. That quiet decision often becomes the turning point that changes everything. Keep a written record of challenges you have already overcome. During discouraging moments, read through those experiences. You will notice that many situations which once seemed impossible eventually became manageable. This reminder strengthens your belief that current difficulties can also be overcome through patience and thoughtful effort. Avoid making permanent decisions during temporary discouragement. Emotional pain often distorts perspective. Give yourself time before abandoning important goals. Rest if necessary. Seek wise advice. Reflect carefully. Return with a clearer mind before deciding your next step. Learn to recognize the difference between quitting and changing direction wisely. Sometimes resilience means continuing despite difficulty. Other times it means recognizing that a different method or opportunity better supports your purpose. Wisdom helps you distinguish between these situations. Stubbornness refuses to learn. Resilience remains open to improvement while staying committed to meaningful values. Every setback also develops humility. It reminds us that there is always more to learn. Humility keeps your mind open. It encourages curiosity instead of defensiveness. A humble person grows more quickly because they remain willing to receive guidance, improve weaknesses, and admit when change is needed. Do not expect life to become completely free from hardship. Challenges are part of every meaningful pursuit. Instead of wishing for an easier path, prepare yourself to respond with greater wisdom. This shift changes your relationship with adversity. You stop fearing every obstacle because you begin trusting your ability to handle them. Faith in your future grows through repeated experiences of overcoming difficulty. Every obstacle you navigate successfully becomes another reason to believe that you can face future challenges. This confidence is grounded in experience rather than wishful thinking. It comes from knowing that you have already survived moments you once believed were impossible. Keep your purpose close during difficult seasons. Remember why your goal matters. Remember the people who may benefit from your growth. Remember the values guiding your decisions. Purpose provides direction when emotions become uncertain. It reminds you that today's struggle is connected to something larger than temporary comfort. There is also value in helping others who are facing their own setbacks. Encouraging someone else strengthens your own resilience. Sharing lessons from your experiences reminds you how far you have already come. Service creates perspective because it shifts attention away from personal disappointment toward meaningful contribution. Each evening, reflect honestly on the day's challenges. Ask yourself what you handled well and where you can respond more wisely tomorrow. This simple habit transforms ordinary experiences into valuable teachers. Small lessons gathered consistently over time become a foundation of lasting wisdom. Resilience is not measured by how rarely you fall. It is measured by how consistently you rise with greater understanding. Every setback carries the possibility of becoming a stepping stone if you choose to learn instead of surrender. Your greatest strength is not found in avoiding hardship, but in developing the character to face it with patience, honesty, courage, and determination. As you continue moving toward your goals, remember that every challenge you overcome adds depth to your character. Every disappointment teaches lessons that success alone cannot provide. Every difficult season strengthens qualities that prepare you for greater opportunities ahead. Continue walking forward with steady resolve. Refuse to let temporary obstacles become permanent limits. The person who keeps learning, keeps adapting, and keeps believing in meaningful progress will always remain stronger than any setback placed along the path. Chapter 7. Improve your skills through daily practice and continuous learning always. Every meaningful achievement depends on the quality of the skills you develop along the way. Goals create direction, but skills create results. No dream becomes reality simply because you want it enough. Every worthwhile accomplishment requires knowledge, practice, patience, and the willingness to improve over time. The encouraging truth is that almost every useful skill can be strengthened through steady effort. You do not have to begin as the most talented person. You only need the commitment to become better than you were yesterday. Many people admire excellence without fully understanding the years of preparation behind it. They see the finished result but rarely notice the quiet mornings, late evenings, repeated practice, careful study, and countless corrections that made it possible. Every expert once struggled with the basics. Every confident professional once felt uncertain. Every accomplished leader once had much to learn. Progress belongs to those who continue improving, long after the excitement of beginning has faded. The willingness to learn is one of the greatest strengths a person can possess. It keeps your mind open, your thinking flexible, and your future full of possibility. The moment someone believes there is nothing left to learn, growth begins to slow. Curiosity keeps improvement alive because it encourages you to ask questions, seek better methods, and remain interested in developing your abilities. Choose your most important skills with purpose. Every goal requires different strengths. If you want to build a successful business, you may need to improve communication, financial understanding, leadership, and decision-making. If your dream is to become healthier, you may need to learn about nutrition, exercise, recovery, and self-control. If you want stronger relationships, listening, empathy, patience, and honesty become valuable abilities. Identify the skills that directly support your future and give them your attention. Avoid trying to master everything at once. Your time and energy are limited, so focus deeply on the abilities that will create the greatest positive impact. Concentrated learning produces stronger results than constantly switching between unrelated subjects. When your attention remains steady, your understanding becomes deeper and your confidence grows naturally. Daily practice is where improvement becomes real. Reading about a skill creates awareness, but applying it creates ability. Knowledge without action remains unused potential. Every lesson becomes valuable only after it is practiced consistently in real situations. Learning to communicate requires conversations. Learning to write requires writing. Learning to lead requires taking responsibility. Growth happens through participation, not observation alone. Do not underestimate the value of small practice sessions. Even 20 focused minutes each day can produce remarkable improvement over time. Short periods of concentrated effort often create stronger habits than long sessions performed inconsistently. Consistency allows your mind to build upon previous learning instead of starting over repeatedly. Mistakes are valuable teachers when approached with the right attitude. Every error reveals something that still needs attention. Instead of feeling embarrassed by imperfections, become interested in understanding them. Ask yourself what happened, why it happened, and how you can improve next time. This habit transforms ordinary practice into meaningful progress because every attempt provides useful information. Seek feedback from people who have already developed the skills you want to master. Honest guidance shortens the learning process by helping you recognize weaknesses that are difficult to notice on your own. Listen carefully without becoming defensive. Feedback is not criticism of your worth. It is a tool for improvement when received with humility and applied with determination. Reading remains one of the simplest and most powerful ways to continue learning. Books allow you to benefit from years of experience gathered by thoughtful people. They expose you to different perspectives, practical strategies, and valuable lessons that might otherwise take decades to discover. Develop the habit of reading regularly, not simply to collect information but to improve the quality of your thinking and decision-making. Learning also happens through careful observation. Watch how skilled people solve problems, communicate, organize their work, and respond to challenges. Pay attention to their habits rather than only their achievements. Notice the preparation behind their success. Ask yourself which behaviors you can adapt to your own life. Practice with full attention instead of simply repeating actions. Repetition alone does not always produce improvement. Thoughtful repetition does. Focus on quality rather than speed. Slow down when necessary. Understand each step before trying to move faster. Strong foundations create lasting confidence because every advanced skill depends on mastering the basics first. Do not compare your current abilities to someone who has been practicing for many years. Every person follows a different timeline. Comparison often creates unnecessary discouragement because it ignores the countless hours of work that happened before visible success. Measure your progress against your own previous performance. Improvement becomes easier to recognize when you focus on how far you have already come. Protect time for learning, even when life becomes busy. It is easy to postpone growth while handling daily responsibilities. However, neglecting personal development often limits future opportunities. Treat learning as an investment rather than an optional activity. The knowledge you gain today may create possibilities that are impossible to predict right now. Keep a notebook dedicated to lessons you discover. Write down useful ideas, important mistakes, practical solutions, and meaningful insights. Reviewing these notes regularly strengthens your understanding and prevents valuable experiences from being forgotten. Over time, this personal collection becomes a record of your growth and a reminder of the progress you have made. Learning becomes more effective when combined with reflection. At the end of each day, consider what you practiced, what improved, and what still needs attention. Reflection organizes experience into understanding. Without reflection, many lessons pass unnoticed. With reflection, ordinary experiences become lasting wisdom. Be patient with slow improvement. Some skills require months or even years before noticeable results appear. During these periods, trust the process rather than becoming discouraged by temporary limitations. Every practice session adds another small layer to your ability, even when the changes are too subtle to notice immediately. There is value in returning to fundamental principles regularly. As you improve, it can be tempting to overlook the basics. Yet experienced professionals often continue practicing foundational skills because they understand that excellence depends on maintaining strong fundamentals. Simplicity performed well often produces better results than complexity performed poorly. Surround yourself with people who encourage learning. Conversations with thoughtful individuals challenge your thinking and introduce new ideas. Spend time with those who value growth, responsibility, and continuous improvement. Positive influences expand your perspective and inspire you to keep developing your abilities. Do not fear being a beginner. Every new skill begins with uncertainty. Feeling inexperienced is not a weakness. It is evidence that you are entering unfamiliar territory where growth is possible. Accept the discomfort of learning instead of allowing pride to keep you from improving. Technology offers many opportunities for education, but use it wisely. Choose resources that provide practical value rather than endless entertainment. Online courses, educational videos, thoughtful interviews, and reliable articles can support your growth when selected carefully. Be intentional about what you consume because your attention shapes your knowledge. Teach what you learn whenever possible. Explaining ideas to others strengthens your own understanding. Teaching reveals gaps in your knowledge while helping someone else improve. This process deepens learning because it requires clear thinking and practical application rather than simple memorization. Stay adaptable as the world changes. New tools, new methods, and new opportunities continue appearing. A flexible learner remains prepared for change instead of resisting it. Adaptability allows you to remain valuable because you continue developing skills that match the needs of the future. Celebrate improvement without becoming satisfied too early. Recognize each milestone as evidence that your effort is producing results. Then continue learning with the same humility that helped you grow in the first place. Every achievement becomes another foundation for future progress rather than a reason to stop improving. Avoid believing that age determines your ability to learn. The human mind remains capable of growth throughout life when it stays curious and engaged. Whether you are beginning a new career, learning a language, developing leadership abilities, or strengthening personal habits, meaningful improvement remains possible through dedicated effort. Use challenges as opportunities to practice your skills under real conditions, solving problems, managing difficult conversations, adapting to unexpected situations, and making thoughtful decisions all strengthen your abilities far more than theoretical study alone. Real experience transforms knowledge into competence. Pay attention to the quality of your questions. Instead of asking whether you are talented enough, ask what specific skill needs improvement. Instead of wondering whether success is possible, ask what you can practice today. Better questions lead to better actions, and better actions create better results. Remain grateful for every opportunity to learn. Every book, mentor, conversation, project and challenge contributes something valuable when approached with the right attitude. Gratitude keeps your mind open because it reminds you that growth is a privilege rather than an obligation. As your abilities increase, continue treating others with kindness and respect. Skill without character often creates pride. Skill combined with humility creates lasting influence. People remember not only what you accomplish, but also how you make them feel through your actions and your example. Each day offers another chance to become more capable than you were before. Every page you read expands your understanding. Every thoughtful conversation sharpens your communication. Every problem you solve strengthens your judgment. Every new experience broadens your perspective. These improvements may seem small when viewed individually, but together they transform the direction of your life. Never assume that your education is complete. Life continues offering lessons to those who remain willing to observe, listen, practice, and reflect. Every season presents new opportunities to grow stronger, wiser, and more prepared for the responsibilities ahead. Continue approaching each day with curiosity instead of certainty, discipline instead of excuses, and determination instead of comfort. Your future achievements will not depend only on the goals you set. They will depend on the person you become while pursuing those goals. Every skill you strengthen increases your ability to contribute, solve problems, support others, and create meaningful results. Keep learning with patience. Keep practicing with intention. Keep improving with humility. Year after year, these choices will shape a life defined not by natural talent alone, but by the steady commitment to become the very best version of yourself. Chapter 8. Surround yourself with people who encourage growth and accountability daily. No one builds a meaningful life completely alone. Personal growth is an individual responsibility, but the people around you influence the way you think, the choices you make, and the standards you accept. Every conversation, every friendship, and every relationship leaves an impression on your mind. Some people inspire you to become stronger, while others slowly pull your attention away from your purpose. Choosing your environment wisely is not about judging others. It is about protecting the future you are working so hard to create. Think about the people you spend the most time with. Notice how you feel after being around them. Do you leave those conversations feeling encouraged, motivated, and ready to improve? Or do you leave feeling drained, doubtful, or distracted from your goals? Your answer reveals a great deal about the influence those relationships have on your life. The people closest to you often shape your expectations without saying a single word. If everyone around you accepts excuses, avoiding responsibility can begin to feel normal. If those around you value honesty, discipline, and personal growth, those qualities gradually become part of your own behavior. Human beings naturally adapt to the standards of their environment. This is why choosing your relationships carefully is one of the wisest decisions you can make. Encouraging people do not simply tell you what you want to hear, they remind you of what you need to hear. They celebrate your progress, but they also challenge you when your actions no longer match your goals. Their honesty may feel uncomfortable at times, yet it helps you grow. Real support is built on truth, not empty praise. Accountability is one of the greatest gifts another person can offer. It means having someone who genuinely cares whether you remain faithful to your commitments. This person does not control your decisions. Instead, they remind you of the promises you made to yourself. They ask thoughtful questions, encourage consistency, and help you remain focused when distractions begin to appear. Imagine telling someone that you plan to improve your health, complete an important project, or learn a valuable skill. When that person regularly asks about your progress, your commitment becomes stronger. You become more aware of your daily choices because someone else knows what you are working toward. Accountability creates an extra layer of responsibility that often helps people continue during difficult seasons. At the same time, remember that accountability works best when it is built on respect rather than pressure. The goal is not to create fear of disappointing others. The goal is to create honest conversations that encourage growth. A healthy accountability partner listens carefully, offers practical advice when appropriate, and reminds you of your strengths during moments of doubt. Be intentional about seeking relationships with people who are committed to improving themselves. These individuals do not need to be perfect. In fact, they should not pretend to be. They simply need to value learning, responsibility, integrity, and steady progress. Their example will encourage you, because their actions demonstrate what consistent effort looks like in everyday life. One of the most valuable qualities in a friend or mentor is integrity. People with integrity keep their promises, admit their mistakes, and behave consistently whether others are watching or not. Spending time with people like this naturally raises your own standards. Their example reminds you that character matters more than appearances. Do not choose relationships based only on comfort. Some people make you feel comfortable because they never challenge your habits. While pleasant conversations have their place, constant comfort rarely produces meaningful growth. Seek people who inspire you to think differently, ask better questions, and examine your choices with greater honesty. Learning from others does not require copying every part of their lives. Every person has unique strengths and weaknesses. Observe the qualities that align with your values. Notice how they solve problems, remain calm during difficulty, communicate respectfully, and fulfill their responsibilities. Adapt those lessons in ways that fit your own journey. A mentor can provide guidance that shortens years of unnecessary struggle. This does not mean finding someone with all the answers. It means learning from a person whose experience, wisdom, and character have earned your respect. Listen carefully to their advice while continuing to think independently. Wise mentors encourage personal responsibility rather than dependence. Strong relationships are built through mutual respect. Do not expect others to invest in your growth if you never invest in theirs. Encourage their goals, celebrate their progress, listen when they face challenges, offer thoughtful support without expecting immediate rewards. Healthy relationships grow stronger because both people contribute to each other's development. Be willing to distance yourself from influences that repeatedly pull you away from your purpose. This does not always require ending relationships completely. Sometimes it simply means spending less time in conversations that encourage negativity, gossip, constant complaining, or unhealthy habits. Protecting your peace and your direction is an act of wisdom, not selfishness. Negative thinking can spread quietly through repeated conversations. If every discussion focuses on blame, fear, or hopelessness, those attitudes gradually become familiar. Eventually, they begin influencing your own expectations. Pay close attention to the emotional atmosphere you regularly enter. Your mind absorbs more than you realize. Instead of participating in gossip, become someone who speaks with respect. Instead of encouraging complaints, look for constructive solutions. Instead of criticizing people behind their backs, practice honesty and kindness. Your words influence not only others but also the way you think about the world. Surrounding yourself with encouraging people also means becoming that kind of person yourself. Ask whether your presence brings hope or discouragement. Do your conversations inspire responsibility or reinforce excuses? Do people leave your company feeling stronger or more uncertain? Your influence matters just as much as the influence others have on you. Trust develops through consistency. Be dependable in your relationships. Arrive when you say you will. Keep your promises whenever possible. Admit your mistakes quickly. Listen with full attention instead of preparing your next response while someone else is speaking. Small acts of reliability create deep trust over time. Healthy communication requires genuine listening. Many people hear words without truly understanding the person speaking. Slow down during conversations. Pay attention to emotions as well as facts. Ask thoughtful questions. Show sincere interest in what others are experiencing. People often remember how carefully you listened long after they forget the specific advice you offered. Respect differences in opinion without allowing them to create unnecessary conflict. Intelligent people can disagree while continuing to treat one another with dignity. Listen carefully before responding. Consider viewpoints that challenge your assumptions. Growth often begins when you become willing to learn from perspectives different from your own. Do not mistake popularity for meaningful connection. Having many acquaintances does not guarantee genuine support. A few trustworthy relationships built on honesty and mutual respect often provide greater encouragement than a large circle of superficial friendships. Focus on quality rather than quantity. Gratitude strengthens relationships. Express appreciation regularly. Thank people for their encouragement, their honesty, their patience, and their belief in your potential. Genuine appreciation deepens trust because it reminds others that their efforts have value. Forgiveness also plays an important role in lasting relationships. Every person makes mistakes. Holding resentment for every disappointment creates emotional distance and unnecessary pain. Forgiveness does not mean ignoring harmful behavior or accepting repeated disrespect. It means choosing not to allow bitterness to control your future. Healthy boundaries and forgiveness can exist together. Support does not always arrive through direct advice. Sometimes the greatest encouragement comes from simply watching someone live according to strong values. Quiet examples often influence people more deeply than long speeches. Your daily actions communicate your beliefs far more clearly than your words alone. Look for opportunities to join communities that encourage learning and personal development. Reading groups, educational programs, professional organizations, volunteer work, or local activities centered around meaningful goals introduce you to people who share similar values. These environments often create lasting friendships based on shared growth rather than temporary interests. Technology also influences your relationships. Consider carefully who you follow online and whose opinions regularly shape your thinking. Fill your digital environment with voices that encourage wisdom, responsibility, learning, and hope. Reduce exposure to content that constantly promotes comparison, conflict, or unnecessary distraction. Celebrate the success of others without allowing jealousy to enter your heart. Another person's achievement does not reduce your opportunity to succeed. Instead of comparing yourself, ask what you can learn from their journey. Admiration combined with curiosity creates growth. Jealousy creates unnecessary dissatisfaction. When someone offers constructive criticism, receive it with maturity. Resist the urge to become defensive. Carefully evaluate whether their observation contains truth that can help you improve. Not every opinion deserves acceptance, but thoughtful feedback often reveals opportunities for growth that would otherwise remain hidden. Make time for meaningful conversations instead of allowing every interaction to remain superficial. Discuss ideas, goals, lessons, values, and experiences. Ask people what they are learning. Share what has challenged your thinking. Conversations centered on growth strengthen both individuals because they create opportunities for mutual encouragement. Remember that your closest relationships deserve regular attention. Strong connections do not develop automatically. They require honesty, patience, forgiveness, respect, and consistent care. Invest time in the people who genuinely matter. Be present during conversations. Show interest in their lives. Support them through both joyful and difficult seasons. As your life changes, your relationships may also change. Some people will naturally grow in different directions. Accept this reality with kindness rather than resentment. Continue treating everyone with respect while remaining committed to building an environment that supports the person you are becoming. Never underestimate the influence of one encouraging voice during a difficult season. A single conversation can restore hope, renew determination, or provide the clarity needed to continue. Likewise, your words may become that source of encouragement for someone else. Speak carefully because your influence reaches farther than you may ever know. The journey toward meaningful success becomes richer when shared with people who value integrity, responsibility, and continuous improvement. Their encouragement reminds you that growth is possible. Their honesty helps you recognize blind spots. Their example challenges you to raise your standards. Together, these relationships create an environment where discipline becomes stronger, learning becomes more enjoyable, and perseverance becomes easier to maintain. Choose your companions with wisdom. Become someone worthy of trust. Build relationships that encourage truth instead of comfort, responsibility instead of excuses, and progress instead of complacency. As these connections grow stronger, they will not only help you achieve your goals, but also shape your character into someone who inspires others to pursue their own highest potential, with courage, humility, and unwavering commitment. Chapter 9. Take bold action despite fear, doubt, and temporary failure every day. The difference between a person who dreams and a person who creates change often comes down to one decision: taking action. Many people have valuable ideas, meaningful goals, and strong ambitions, but they remain stuck because they wait for the perfect moment. They wait until they feel completely confident, until every risk disappears, or until they know exactly how everything will happen. The truth is that progress rarely begins with complete certainty. It begins when you choose to move forward despite uncertainty. Fear is a natural part of growth. Whenever you step into something unfamiliar, your mind tries to protect you by pointing out possible problems. This response is not a sign of weakness, it is part of being human. However, allowing fear to make every decision can prevent you from experiencing opportunities that could change your life. The goal is not to remove fear completely. The goal is to develop the ability to act wisely while fear exists. Many people misunderstand courage. They believe courageous people do not experience nervousness or doubt. In reality, courage is demonstrated when someone feels uncertainty but chooses to continue anyway. A person who takes action while feeling uncomfortable develops a strength that cannot be gained through waiting. Confidence grows after action because each experience teaches you that you are capable of handling challenges. Doubt becomes powerful when it is accepted without examination. A thought such as, "I am not ready," can become a reason to delay indefinitely. Instead of accepting every doubtful thought as truth, question it. Are you truly unprepared? Or do you simply need more practice? Do you need more information? Or are you searching for an excuse to avoid discomfort? Honest answers help you identify what action is actually required. Taking bold action does not mean making careless decisions. It means being willing to move forward after thoughtful preparation. Study the situation, gather useful information, create a reasonable plan, then take the next step. Waiting forever for perfect conditions often creates more regret than making a careful attempt and learning from the result. Small actions create momentum. Many people believe they need to make a massive change before progress can begin. They imagine that success requires one dramatic decision. In reality, consistent movement often creates the greatest transformation. Sending one important message, completing one difficult task, learning one new concept, or having one necessary conversation can begin a process that leads to significant results. Do not underestimate the power of starting before you feel completely prepared. Every skill develops through experience. You cannot become a better communicator without communicating. You cannot become better at leadership without accepting responsibility. You cannot improve your abilities without entering situations where those abilities are tested. Experience is one of the greatest teachers available. Failure becomes less intimidating when you understand its purpose. A temporary failure is not a final judgment, it is information. It reveals what worked, what did not work, and what needs improvement. Successful people do not avoid every mistake. They learn faster because they study their mistakes, instead of allowing them to destroy their confidence. When something does not go according to plan, avoid asking only, "Why did this happen to me?" Ask more useful questions. What can I learn from this? What should I change next time? What skill or preparation would improve my chances? These questions turn disappointment into a practical lesson. Many people stop after their first serious challenge because they misunderstand the role of difficulty. They assume a difficult path means they are moving in the wrong direction. However, challenges often appear precisely because you are attempting something meaningful. Anything valuable requires effort, patience, and adaptation. Develop the habit of acting before overthinking takes control. Careful thinking is valuable, but excessive analysis can become another form of avoidance. There comes a point when more planning no longer creates improvement. Action creates new information that planning alone cannot provide. Take the step, evaluate the result, and adjust when necessary. Your daily choices determine whether fear becomes stronger or weaker. Every time you avoid something important because you are afraid, avoidance becomes easier the next time. Every time you face discomfort and complete the task anyway, courage becomes stronger. Your responses create patterns, and those patterns influence your future behavior. Protect yourself from the desire for immediate approval. Many people avoid action because they worry about criticism. They fear that others will question their choices, judge their mistakes, or misunderstand their goals. If you allow every opinion to control your decisions, you will struggle to create anything meaningful. Respect others, but remain responsible for your own direction. Focus on progress rather than perfection. Perfectionism often appears like a desire for excellence, but it can secretly prevent action. A person who refuses to begin until everything is flawless may never begin at all. Improvement happens through repeated attempts. The first version is rarely the final version. Growth requires permission to begin imperfectly. Prepare yourself for rejection. Not every opportunity will work out. Not every person will support your ideas. Not every attempt will produce the result you hoped for. This is part of pursuing meaningful goals. Rejection may disappoint you, but it does not define your ability or your future. It simply provides another experience to learn from. Build a habit of doing one challenging thing each day. It does not need to be a dramatic challenge. It can be completing an uncomfortable task, starting a conversation you have been avoiding, practicing a difficult skill, or making a decision you have delayed. These small acts strengthen your ability to handle discomfort and build trust in yourself. Avoid allowing temporary emotions to control permanent choices. A difficult morning does not mean you should abandon your goals. A disappointing result does not mean your effort has no value. Emotions provide information, but they should not always control your direction. Use wisdom to decide what deserves your continued commitment. Your environment can either encourage action or strengthen hesitation. Spend time with people who respect effort, learning, and improvement. Observe those who take responsibility instead of waiting for perfect conditions. Their example reminds you that progress belongs to people who are willing to begin. Keep your attention on what you can influence. Worrying about every possible problem drains energy that could be used for preparation and action. You cannot predict every outcome, but you can control your effort, your attitude, and your willingness to adapt. Focus on these areas and allow your actions to create new possibilities. Celebrate attempts, not only results. If you only value yourself when you succeed, you create unnecessary pressure. Recognize the courage required to try something difficult. Every attempt expands your experience and develops your character. The willingness to act repeatedly is often what eventually produces success. Learn to separate discomfort from danger. Many valuable opportunities feel uncomfortable because they require growth. Speaking in front of others, learning something unfamiliar, asking for help, or pursuing a new opportunity may create nervousness. That discomfort does not necessarily mean you should stop. Sometimes it means you are developing. Take responsibility for your decisions without becoming trapped by regret. If a choice produces a poor result, learn from it and move forward. Spending endless time wishing the past were different prevents you from improving the present. Your power exists in the actions you take now. Your future is shaped by the moments when nobody is watching. The decision to practice, prepare, and continue during difficult periods creates the foundation for later success. Many breakthroughs come after long periods of consistent effort that others never see. Continue working, even when recognition is absent. Develop trust in your ability to adapt. You do not need to know every step before beginning. You need confidence that you can learn what is necessary along the way. Life will present unexpected situations, and your ability to respond wisely will often matter more than having a perfect plan. Do not let the fear of failure become greater than the desire for growth. A life built around avoiding mistakes often becomes a life filled with missed opportunities. Protect yourself from reckless decisions, but do not protect yourself from every challenge. Growth requires participation. Each day provides another opportunity to practice courage. A small action taken today can create a different future months or years from now. The person you want to become is built through repeated decisions to move forward, even when hesitation appears. Bold action is not about being fearless. It is about respecting your goals enough to continue pursuing them when fear, doubt, and uncertainty appear. It is about choosing progress over comfort and learning over avoidance. Every time you act despite hesitation, you strengthen your ability to face future challenges. Continue taking meaningful steps. Continue learning from results. Continue adjusting your approach. Continue showing up when the outcome is uncertain. The person who consistently chooses action over hesitation eventually develops a level of confidence that waiting could never create. Your goals require movement, and every courageous decision you make today brings you closer to the life you are working to build. Chapter 10. Commit to lifelong improvement until you achieve every meaningful goal. A meaningful life is not created through one achievement, one decision, or one period of effort. It is created through a lifelong commitment to becoming better. The moment you stop learning, improving, and reflecting, your growth begins to slow. Personal development is not a temporary project that ends after reaching one goal. It is a way of living that continues throughout every stage of your life. Many people believe success is a destination where all problems disappear and every desire is fulfilled. In reality, achievement often creates new responsibilities, new opportunities, and new areas for improvement. The person who reaches one goal must continue growing to handle the next level of life. Continuous improvement keeps you prepared for new challenges and helps you create deeper meaning from your experiences. A commitment to lifelong improvement begins with accepting that there will always be more to learn. No matter how much knowledge you gain, there are always new perspectives to understand, new skills to develop, and new ways to improve your character. This mindset keeps you humble because it reminds you that growth is never complete. The greatest danger is not making mistakes. The greatest danger is becoming comfortable with staying the same. Comfort can quietly reduce ambition because it creates the illusion that improvement is unnecessary. A person may reach a certain level of success and decide that further effort is not needed. Over time, however, progress requires continued attention. What once created success may not be enough to maintain it in a changing world. Create the habit of regularly reviewing your life. Ask yourself where you are improving and where you are becoming careless. Consider your health, relationships, skills, finances, and personal character. Honest reflection allows you to identify areas that deserve attention before small problems become larger challenges. Growth requires a willingness to challenge yourself. If you only do what is familiar, your abilities remain limited. New experiences expand your understanding and reveal strengths you may not know you possess. Try new responsibilities, learn unfamiliar skills, explore different perspectives. Each experience provides an opportunity to become more capable. Do not measure your progress only by external achievements. Titles, possessions, and recognition can be meaningful, but they do not represent the full picture of success. Consider the person you are becoming. Are you more patient than before? Are you making wiser decisions? Are you treating people with greater respect? Are you becoming someone you can be proud of? Character is one of the most valuable forms of success because it influences everything else. Skills may create opportunities, but character determines how you use those opportunities. Honesty, discipline, responsibility, and kindness create a foundation that supports long-term achievement. Stay committed even when progress feels slow. Improvement often happens gradually through repeated choices that seem insignificant in the moment. A single day of effort may not create a visible change, but thousands of days of consistent improvement can completely transform your life. Never underestimate the influence of small actions repeated over time. Avoid the temptation to compare your entire journey with someone else's current situation. Everyone develops at a different pace. Some people achieve certain goals earlier, while others take longer paths that provide different lessons. Focus on your own responsibilities and continue improving according to your personal values. Your goals should continue evolving as you grow. The dreams you had years ago may change as you gain new experiences and understanding. This does not mean you failed. It means you developed. Wisdom allows you to adjust your direction while remaining committed to living with purpose. Learn to enjoy the process of improvement instead of only focusing on the final result. If happiness depends entirely on reaching the next goal, you may spend your entire life waiting for satisfaction. Appreciate the daily actions that create progress. Enjoy learning, practicing, helping others, and becoming stronger. Surround yourself with reminders of growth. Keep learning materials nearby. Follow people who inspire thoughtful improvement. Create routines that encourage discipline and reflection. Your environment should support the person you are becoming, rather than keeping you attached to old habits. Continue developing emotional intelligence, understanding your own emotions, and responding wisely to the emotions of others is a lifelong skill. It improves communication, strengthens relationships, and helps you make better decisions during difficult situations. Emotional growth is just as important as intellectual growth. Remain open to change. Life will not always follow the plans you create. New circumstances will require flexibility and adaptation. A person committed to improvement does not resist every change. They evaluate it, learn from it, and adjust when necessary. Adaptability allows you to continue moving forward even when conditions are different from what you expected. Do not allow past achievements to become an excuse for future laziness. Your previous success proves what you are capable of, but it does not guarantee future results. Continue earning your progress through effort, learning, and responsible choices. Help others grow as you continue improving yourself. Sharing knowledge, offering encouragement, and supporting people around you creates a deeper sense of purpose. Personal growth becomes more meaningful when it positively influences the lives of others. Success becomes more valuable when it creates benefits beyond yourself. Develop the discipline to maintain your standards even when motivation decreases. Some days will feel easier than others. Some periods will bring excitement, while others will require patience. A lifelong commitment to improvement means continuing the right actions regardless of temporary emotions. Be willing to admit when you are wrong. Growth requires humility because improvement begins when you recognize what needs to change. Defending every mistake prevents learning. Accepting responsibility creates opportunities to become wiser and stronger. Protect your curiosity. Curiosity keeps your mind active and prevents stagnation. Ask questions, explore ideas, learn from people with different experiences. A curious person continues discovering new possibilities throughout life because they never assume they know everything. Your relationship with failure will also influence your ability to improve. Mistakes are unavoidable, but they do not have to become permanent obstacles. Use them as information, adjust your approach, continue moving forward with greater understanding. Take care of the body and mind that allow you to pursue your goals. Long-term success requires energy, focus, and health. Rest when necessary. Maintain habits that support your well-being. A strong foundation allows you to continue performing at your best. Create a personal standard of excellence. This does not mean demanding perfection from yourself. It means committing to doing your best, learning from results, and improving your methods. Excellence is developed through attention to details and respect for the work you choose to do. Remember that your influence extends beyond your own achievements. The way you live becomes an example for others. Your discipline may encourage someone else. Your patience may inspire someone facing difficulty. Your commitment to improvement may show others that change is possible. At times, you may wonder whether all your effort is worth it. During those moments, remember that improvement changes more than your results. It changes your confidence, your perspective, your relationships, and your ability to handle life. The process itself creates value. Do not wait until everything is perfect before appreciating your progress. Recognize how much you have learned, acknowledge the challenges you have overcome, respect the effort you have invested. Gratitude for your progress gives you the strength to continue improving. A person committed to lifelong growth does not search for an easy life. They seek a meaningful one. They understand that challenges, responsibilities, and learning opportunities are part of becoming stronger. They do not fear change because they trust their ability to adapt and improve. The journey toward your goals is built one decision at a time. Each choice either strengthens or weakens the person you are becoming. Continue choosing discipline over neglect, learning over ignorance, responsibility over excuses, and improvement over comfort. Your most important achievement will not simply be the goals you accomplish. It will be the person you become while pursuing them. The knowledge you gain, the character you develop, the relationships you strengthen, and the wisdom you collect will remain valuable throughout your life. Commit to improvement, not only because you want greater success, but because you respect your own potential. Continue growing when progress is easy and when progress is difficult. Continue learning when others stop. Continue improving when nobody notices. A meaningful life belongs to those who remain dedicated to becoming better. Keep moving forward with patience, discipline, and purpose. Every day provides another opportunity to improve, another chance to learn, and another moment to create the future you desire. Lifelong improvement is not simply a method for achieving goals. It is the commitment to becoming a wiser, stronger, and more valuable person for as long as you live.